Okay. Final topic of the day. This should be a fun one. I asked you to bring 3 winners and 3 losers from exhibition week. I would term the last 7 days as like secret scrimmage plus charity exhibition week. We've seen pretty much every team in the country in some form, whether in like live basketball or whether we've gotten box scores, et cetera, et cetera. There's some narratives building based on small things, first impressions that we've heard and seen from teams. 3 winners, 3 losers. I have my list. You have your list. We'll have you go first here. Give us your winners and losers.
Okay. Am I doing winners and losers? Like, you want me to go through all of them, or just start with winners and then you
Go
do your winners?
one by one. You can pick if you want to start with winners or losers.
I'll start with winners. Maybe a layup here, but my first winner is Maui/charity, because I think that all these games were sold out. All these charity games were sold out. It's everyone came out a winner, I think, at the end of this, because it was for Maui and for a charity. I thought that the presentation was great. All the ticket sales going to that were great. The coaches wearing the Hawaiian shirts, the Maui Strong t-shirts, I thought were incredible. I'm still trying to find a link to those to support and also get those fire t-shirts. Like, please, someone link me with that. At the end of the day, I think it's great that all this was for charity and did a great job of raising money for a really good cause. And that should not be lost in all these exhibitions that are happening.
I like that. Yeah. Anytime charity can win, we like that. Question though. Can we just make every game for charity? Like, where do we draw the line on being pro charity?
Because sports programs also need money for themselves to make things happen, and NIL is a thing. And we love charity, but we also love the ability to pay Hunter Dickinson when he's in the portal.
We couldn't do like 80-20 split, 20 to charity all season long.
We probably could.
Can we get more charity? I guess that's my like.
I would love more. I would love more charity.
Everyone's in agreement. We love charity. Let's do more charity.
I'm in.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Continue.
Oh, I thought we were gonna go back and forth.
We can go back and forth. Do you want me to jump in?
Yes, please.
Okay. One of my winners, Caleb Love, is a winner. I think this is the first time I have ever uttered those terms in a sentence together, but it feels refreshing. It feels good. Here's why Caleb Love's a winner. One, he is out of North Carolina, which no offense to North Carolina, but I think he just needed a fresh start. 2, he is on Arizona and not on Michigan. He could have ended up at Michigan. Michigan might be pretty good. They looked good against Marquette. Based on what we heard from Arizona's first game and what you could see a little bit, he's going to thrive. He's going to thrive in Tommy Lloyd's offense. They're going to get the ball in his hands a lot. I don't think there's a clunky fit here at all. I was worried there would be a clunky fit with Boswell, but I don't think there is, quite frankly. I think it would have been clunkier between him and Doug at Michigan, because Doug needs to be kind of a ball-dominant guy. At Arizona, I think Caleb's going to be really free to do a lot of things, create for himself and create for others. He had a bunch of assists in his first game. He looks really damn good. I heard RC on After Dark last night said he thinks Caleb Love will be a first-team All-American this season. I don't know if I'm that high on that, but I like that take. I could certainly see it happening, and I only think that would have happened at Arizona and not at North Carolina. So winner, Caleb Love.
I like that as a winner. Honestly, you could throw Arizona, I think, as a winner in general. I've been very impressed in their exhibitions with how their players have played, like you mentioned, and also just team fit as well. My number 2, and this is me catering to the people, but also taking a moment to step back and realize it. A winner of this is the Arkansas Razorbacks as a team, because everyone, including ourselves, I take a moment to step back, and I think we did this as well. We talk so much about Purdue, what Purdue did, what Purdue didn't do. I took a step back, went back and actually watched another Matthew Loves ball, and I was thoroughly impressed with how this Arkansas Razorback team looked. I mean, look, you get Trevon Brazile back. I thought Tremont Mark, he was one of my favorite players at Houston. As you know, Greg, I'm a Houston Cougar as well. I guess I should have added them to my list earlier when we spoke about it. But love Tremont Mark. I just think that this team did a really good job of adding some pieces and then also getting guys like Brazile back and then Devo Davis back. So I was really impressed with the team, really impressed with Muss in general. You know, I'm a big Muss bust guy. So I think that you can mark up Arkansas Razorbacks as a winner in this case. I think they did a really good job both in the transfer portal and getting guys back.
I like that call. I don't personally I want to be careful because there's a lot of Arkansas fans who found our video yesterday. There's like a trove of Arkansas fans I didn't know exist that were like hungry for Razorback content. Sorry, Arkansas, we didn't talk much about you because we were talking about Purdue and we've been Big Ten heavy on a lot of this. We can definitely start talking more Arkansas. I don't love Muss though. That's why I'm apologizing. He's just one of those guys that like I love more in a love to hate way than I love in a love to love way. I think he's like a fantastic villain for the sport of college basketball. And maybe villain's not even a fair word because he's really fun. So that's harsh of me to frame him that way, but I just think he's a character in a good and bad way. So hearing you like deem him one of the biggest winners of the sport right away is like, this could be the year of Muss. I'm realizing it right now.
So this is a theory that I've always held because at first I thought like the Muss thing was kind of a shtick, like a shtick. Is that the word? Yeah, shtick. I thought it was a shtick, and that's not like a bad thing. Like I think some coaches need to have that to kind of rally their team. I have this theory that if he was to go to another team, he would basically take the form of whatever the team needs to be great. I think that he's doing this at Arkansas because he realizes he has a bunch of players that will rally around that and players that will embrace being a villain, embrace being like the Devo Davis to get up in you and talk shit and, you know, flex your muscle, take off your shirt after games. Like he realizes that's what gets his team going and that's what's going to lead his team to winning games. I don't know if he would necessarily do that anywhere else. I don't think we'll ever know that because I just think he gets Arkansas prototype players, guys to that team. So he'll always kind of stay in that mold that he has right now. But I actually do have a theory that he does it because of his team, not because of actually who he is. And I feel like you might hate that because you might think it's a fake thing, but I don't think it's a fake thing. I literally think he's doing that because that's what he knows will make his team great.
I think that's my favorite theory I've ever heard, and it has now completely swung me on Muss. Now that I can buy, he's doing this intentionally, I'm all in on it. I just, I can't get over like the cringy, like that video.
That was bad.
That's hard for me to get around. I do have a theory while we're doing Muss theories. I have a theory that he is social media era Tom Izzo.
We might have to bump a segment back on that and get like a full breakdown of that.
If you had to pick one guy to coin the term Mr. March in the last 5 years, is it not Mr. Muss? He's the most dangerous man in March. He went toe-to-toe with Bill Self and said, I got you this past year. His teams just make Sweet 16s consistently. That's all they do. He needs to get through. He needs to get the Final Four. But, I'm seeing like very small in stature man, very fiery, wins in March.
Yeah, didn't he go to they beat that Gonzaga team with Chet, didn't they? Or did they lose that game?
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah, I think they won that game, then lost to Duke.
In my head, they did, but also in my head, Mark Few has lost every game he's played for the last 11 years. So tough. Okay, my next winner, I had Caleb Love as my first winner. My next winner is RJ Davis.
Who's third? Armando Bacot? It is, isn't it?
It's not.
Okay.
RJ Davis wins, man. Look, Caleb Love's gone. That's a win for RJ. Toxic marriage. It's one of those times like you see a divorce happen and you're like, that was good for both of them. I'm happy. Like they're mutually happy. They're both separated now. And they still get along and get coffee once in a while. Like that's good for you guys. You guys are mature and you did great. That's how I feel about this. RJ had a great first game for North Carolina. I think a lot of people are trying to do like the Elliot Cadeau's an upgrade from Caleb Love. I don't know that I see that yet. Elliot Cadeau's coming off the bench. And I would assume that changes at a certain point. He's looked great. Like all the highlights are special. He's a great passer. He had an elite looking dunk, but he's coming off the bench behind Paxson Wojcik right now. And if that's the case, what that means is that it's the RJ Davis show on offense. And through one game, RJ has delivered in that sense. We just talked about it in the guy segment. He wasn't voted first team all conference. Crazy to me. I think RJ Davis's numbers are going to be stupid on this Carolina team, and I'm really excited to see it. And I'm happy for mom and dad. They split up, and they're both better off for it.
I don't want to misspeak on that or misspeak on this. I don't think RJ Davis made any all ACC team.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is insane. But I will say this. With Cadeau, if he plays more than Wojcik, I think that would be the case. What makes it different, I'm not saying Caleb Love or Elliot Cadeau is different. But the fact that Cadeau is a generational passer, I think just makes things easier for RJ, who is an undersized two guard. So if he can get open looks in transition and get open looks in the half court offense, because Cadeau is a good passer and puts pressure on the defense, I think it'll open up more things for him. But even without Cadeau, just RJ Davis by himself, all in on him having a really, really good season.
Yeah, I want to see the RJ Davis show. I like it.
I'd love to see that. Hopefully, no one on the team wants to steal the show from him.
Also, if we're doing like most fun outcomes, like last year, I really wanted to see when we got to the Final Four or Elite Eight, I think I wanted to see Nigel Pack from Miami against Kansas State and Marquise Noel in the title game.
Yeah.
Caleb Love versus RJ Davis for a national championship.
Themes.
My dog, if we can wish that into existence, that might need to be a segment later in the week, just like things we wish we could wish into existence in college basketball this year.
Yeah, I love that. Instead, I wish for that instead of Purdue for a Final Four. My last winner, I have to do this. Dalton Knecht. That dude's a bad man. He's a really, really bad man. And the fact that he might not be Tennessee's best player and or guard makes me even more scared of Tennessee as a whole. I have a whole new respect for Tennessee as a basketball team. They're going to be really nasty this season. Will they get over the March hiccups? That's to be seen. But there should be a very, very, very close microscope on this team if they don't do it in March. And there should be questions asked of Rick Barnes, because the way this is shaping up and the way this team, can go without the guys they didn't have for that exhibition too, I'm very, very afraid of Tennessee. Very.
Who's their coach?
Rick Barnes. Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Yeah, they look really good. They look really, really good. I'm excited. Dalton Knecht, I was definitely wrong about. I think, my whole thing of like being skeptical of mid-major transfers misses a lot.
No. This is where you missed it on this one. I'll tell you exactly where you missed it. This reason that this guy was a mid-major is because, at least the reason before, is that he can't check a soul. That was the thing about him. He couldn't check. He couldn't be a high major player because offensively he could be, but he can't check. Newsflash. If you're a killer, checking is so overrated. You check because you're not a killer. If you're a killer, checking is optional in my book.
I think that's true. Also, is it he can't check or he won't check?
That's to be seen.
Because in my theory, I think whether you can't or won't check, as long as it's just one of the two, you can work with that. You can work with guys that can't check. You can also work with guys that won't check. You can't work with guys who both can't and won't check.
We can work with fake effort on defense. If you're giving me like a fake hand closeout, but you're not making the extra effort to do the 2 slide step, that's fine. I love the fake hand. Go get me a bucket on the other end. We'll deal with the fake hand.
See, that's won't check right there. We can work with that. We can also work with can't check. We can work with guys that are just bad defenders but try. We can work with trying. We can't work with guys that can't and won't check, because that's just Bryce Sensabaugh.
Damn it.
It's so true.
All right.
My favorite thing. All right, my final winner. It's not Armando Bacot. It's not. My final winner is the Illinois Fighting Illini. We talked about it enough yesterday. I feel obligated to do it. This isn't fan service. It's true. I don't think there's a more impressive result from the last week than Illinois beating Kansas. I just don't. Illinois was not supposed to be this ready this year, especially by the grading scale that I grade them with. I gave them a huge offseason F grade. That clearly looks horrible. If I had to go back and grade their offseason right now, it would be like B+, even without getting a point guard. I think this team's going to be able to switch a ton defensively. They got so many interchangeable moving parts. They're really deep. Like their 11th guy would play on most teams in the country. And at the same time, I've been skeptical of them. I've also been like, this kind of feels like the year they get lucky. If they do get lucky, this team could do a lot of special things. Like if they get a really good draw, this team has the makings of a team that could make a deep run, in my opinion, in November, at least.
I like that. That's a good shout. They did beat the number 1 team in the country. That they did do that.
Yeah, number 1, who's more like number 13, but that's for another day. Let's do our biggest losers. 3 biggest losers. This should be fun.
It
We
should.
got
My first biggest loser is the MSU guards because bend this any way you want to, flip it any way you want to. You let backup guards come in your trap and take over your trap, and they outshined you at your crib as backup guards. Now you can argue what you want about what backup guard means. Who cares? I can make a headline that says backup guards go on the road, outshine Michigan State guards in a win, and it would be correct. And you have to live with that. Am I worried about MSU guards? Absolutely not. But if I got to pick a loser for the week, you let backup guards come in your house and outshine you and win the game. That happened. It's okay. We'll bounce back. But for this week, unfortunately, you got to be a loser.
Somebody in the Discord said we need clickbait cart back. After that caption, I agree. You should have done that for the thumbnail. That should have been the name of the YouTube video. Backup guards storm into the Breslin Center and emerge with a victory. Like, that's incredible stuff. So you're not hanging the banner for AJ Hoggard's late 3-pointer and Tyson Walker's late 2 buckets?
No, because they didn't win.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. Seemed like a lot of people were really excited about those moments, though.
I mean, they were hyped, but they didn't win.
Yeah, good moments.
Yeah,
Guards were good. 50% from 3. It was impressive. All right. In the spirit of accountability with our own teams, my first loser is Juwan Howard.
Don't know if we should do this.
Do I need to elaborate on it or no?
I don't know if we should do this.
Are you uncomfortable with going here?
Do we want to go here?
I'm just look.
Elaborate.
Guy has not been involved in the Michigan basketball team since the summer. And you're telling me Michigan has their best performance in 18 months in the first game against a top 5 opponent when he hasn't been involved? Really? I'm not like, there's no definitive statement from me, but I'm monitoring. I'm looking at this with a little side eye. Because if you're going to tell me this Michigan team is just like a really, really good with the roster that they have with Phil Martelli coaching, I'm just gonna be like,
But he constructed the roster. You gotta give him credit for that.
Yes.
If the roster is good, ends up being good, he did that. He's the sole reason why Olivier Nkamhoua is in Michigan colors right now.
100%, he is. Juwan deserves a lot of credit for that.
Yeah. So, but
haven't even seen the team play. That's just a quick one, because it's not even what I'm saying. Like, what I just said obviously is like a little baiting. I get it, but like, here's the truth of this. Juwan is now in a really difficult position, because if this Michigan team is really bad, the narrative's going to become Juwan's got to go. He's not even healthy. He's not here. If this Michigan team's really good while he's not there, the narrative becomes, well, this is Phil Martelli's team. He's crushing it. Juwan's been horrible. Like, he's now in a cannot win situation as this team looks like it's going to be really promising. And I genuinely feel for him with that.
Yeah. I agree. That's actually a good segue into my second loser. It's Marquette. You let a freshman president come in and dog walk your All-American point guard and gave 115 points to a Michigan team that's supposedly supposed to struggle on offense. Credit to Michigan for doing what they do. Credit to them for being physically dominating. But all I hear is about Big East toughness this, Big East toughness that. Big East toughness got dog walked by a Big Ten front court and got 115 put upon the head top. So, my eyes are on you, Marquette. Enjoy the Big East, I suppose. You guys seem to do pretty well there. You got to show me outside of that, respectfully.
Yeah, I disagree with everything you just said, but it's okay. That's your opinion. You know what's interesting about podcasts? You get to give your opinions. See, I can disagree with you and not create a 7-thread. 7-tweet.
Can Marquette be a loser for losing a game to Michigan and giving up 115 points?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why they're on my loser list.
48-minute game.
So if it was 40, they would have lost what? 92 to, or they would have lost 92 to 87.
I suspect, without seeing the tape of this, based on how many times the teams went to the free throw line, they just played the whole like no foul out rules and people just fouled every possession. I don't know what that says about the game, but I have a feeling this was a real competitive game that also did not look anything like a real basketball game. It's my guess, which is probably why Michigan won. My next loser, Florida Atlantic, but more importantly, Dusty May. I think people are realizing that Florida Atlantic isn't actually a top 10 team in the country. Now, the season's just starting. Maybe they could get there by the end of the season. Maybe they can have another magical March run, even if they're not a top 10 team in the country. But there was a whole lot of like, oh my gosh, the Final Four team's bringing everybody back. Look how great they're going to be. It's such an awesome story. Let's put them 7th in the country preseason. That was a whole thing. And then a bunch of smart college basketball people were like, wait. This team was more like 30th in the country. They just made a good run. They're overrated. They shouldn't be there. And then games started, and then they kept losing by a lot every time they played basketball. So I kind of think, I don't want to say the jury's out, but I think like that little like, ooh, this could be magical is kind of already dead before the season even started. And that might not mean much for Florida Atlantic, who will win their conference and will be back in the NCAA tournament. It does mean a lot for Dusty May, because Dusty May would have been the hottest name that could possibly be hired in the last coaching cycle. And I'm a little worried Dusty might miss his chance.
You know what? I think if he keeps level-headed, though, like unless he has a total tank of a year, I still think he'll get a pretty high major job. He just needs to keep it together for a little bit.
Like jobs are going to be there, yeah. But like, yeah. I think last summer Dusty May would have been in like the best job available circle. And I think if Florida Atlantic just like loses in the first round of the tournament this year and is like 35th on KenPom,
yeah,
I don't know. I think you might miss it.
All right. Was that your second or your third loser?
That was my second. We both got one more.
Okay, my last one. Arkansas social media team for the final score per didn't post. Yes, Arkansas did a good job by beating, but the victory laps by the social media team and honestly some Arkansas fans, I get it. You should be excited about it. You beat a really, really good team. But I think that charity should be lost in this. And I thought it was kind of funny that Tennessee did the score didn't count thing. And other social media teams just kind of posted the score, just emphasizing that the game was for charity, thanking the other team for coming out. I just didn't think it was a great time to troll given the situation. So they're my third loser.
I think that's a good one. Yeah, I have no additional commentary. I hated that post. Don't slander Purdue. Only we get to slander Purdue, and it's out of love because they're my number one team in the country, and I want what's best for them. Okay,
and we would come up with something better than Purdue didn't.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Simple as that. Okay. I have one more, and then I have an honorable mention. My third loser is Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino is supposed to be the baddest man in the game, waltzing in and losing to Pace University. Excuse me, Rick. I thought that losing to a Division II team was a Louisville thing. Well, that's not a Rick Pitino thing. You're supposed to have your team at St. John's. I get two of their best players didn't play, but you can't be losing to Pace University, Rick Pitino. Can't happen.
I am getting ready to hook this take into my veins, Gregory. Please sing it to the mountains. This man lost the Pace, and they said, here are the keys to the New York Stock Exchange. People, Louisville was a long time ago. Ionia didn't win a tournament game. They lost to Rider. Let's not forget that.
Honorable mention. This one makes me sad, actually. It broke during this podcast. Kirk Risa. Sad, man. Why is Kirk Risa getting punished? What are we in today's day and age? How can a player get punished for impermissible benefits? How? Well,
benefits must have been some.
I'm just sad. Free Kerr, man. He's been through so much. He's been from Arizona all the way across the country to I'm here for Bob Huggins.
Man,
get hit with what he got hit with. And now this, man, it's so sad.
Free Risa until it's backwards, man.
Yeah, Kirk Risa, I guess. I don't know. All right.